What's up, everybody? This is Hugo Infinity back again with Professor Goodfeels.
Everyone.
It's a start to a new year. We just want to throw out a motivational video for y'all because honestly, I do have a story to tell. It's perfect for his channel because it's all about motivation. It's always about continuing to grow as a person. And as you can see, we're in this new car right here that I just got 2 days ago. But the story does not start there with this new car. This car is not a flex. It's not me to brag or boast on my accomplishments. It's you listen to the story and you'll see why we wanted to make this video. So about 6 months ago, I had lost my car. I had lost my job, lost my apartment. Had to move back to Garland to my family's house, and it was overwhelming, to be honest with y'all. It was a lot. It really was bringing me down. It just things were going down here for me. Just about 6 months ago, back in 2020, when the pandemic kind of hit. And so over time, I was getting a little discouraged, and I started saying in my mind, if I don't have my life together by the end of this year, I'm just gonna end it. And I was dead set on that. I didn't tell nobody. I think I told one person, but I didn't tell anybody else. I had made up my mind. I'm like, let's just see how the rest of this year plays out. And over time, getting closer to the end of the year, I had actually met this girl, and me wanted to be better for her made me realize my goals again, and kind of woke me up, kind of just shook off all the dust off my eyes, and I started realizing, what my goals were at first, and I started getting back on track. Fast forward to around Christmas time, my family leaves on a road trip, doesn't even tell me or invite me. This girl I started talking to, now she's ghosting me. She hasn't, well, she's not really ghosting me. She's taking time to to figure herself out too. So, but I haven't heard from her. So I'm not hearing from my family. I'm not hearing from this girl. My friends are, they're doing their own thing, and I just started getting more discouraged. And it was at that moment where I'm like, it's the end of the year, and what am I really doing with my life? And I just, and it's not necessarily that it was a New Year's resolution. It wasn't like New Year, new me. It's just the timing of everything that happened happened to align with the new year. And I said, you know what, this upcoming year, I'm just gonna blitz 2021. Every single thing I ever missed out on, every unfinished project, every relationship that I've let fade out. I'm gonna rebuild bonds with people. I'm gonna network again. I'm gonna get back on everything. And so I just set in mind for myself that I have the power. I speak into existence what my life will become. And when and speaking things into existence, it really matters. You have to affirm things for yourself. You have to actually have the mindset, because like I said, this car, I'm driving this Mercedes, but it wasn't even that I went out of my way to get a Mercedes. It was, I was hanging out with one of my exes, and she had got approved for a new car. She had got a new job. She's like, yeah, all it takes is initiative. You just got to go out there and just see what happens. Actually just make an effort. And I was on the website looking at the cars, and she's like, yeah, you know what? I'll just do the application right now. Just fill it out right now, get it all taken care of right now, see what happens. And I'm like, you know what? All right, whatever. So I go ahead and do it. And then same day, the guy calls me. He's like, hey, what's up? You got approved for this and that. We can get you a new car. I'm like, all right, we started negotiating prices though, because I wasn't in the best financial situation, but they really worked with me on this. And it's one of those things that when you really set your mind on something, the universe will take shape and help you align with what it is that you need. And so I ended up in this car, same day. Like I said, I just signed the paperwork, drove off. It was a very easy process. And then once I got the car, I said, you know what, let me get more serious about my side hustles, about photography and music. So I set up a photo shoot with Leo, my homeboy Leo. And that photo shoot turned into me getting signed on to his label, POE Records. Everyone out there, POE, Products of Environment. And it's something low key, but people don't understand how hardworking Leo is. He's one of those persons. He's a very talented artist. He's delved into many different genres, but his main thing is networking. He knows how to make connections and build relationships with people, because he's a sincere person. He's networked all around the Dallas area. He's plugged in with radio stations, plugged in with big names like Big Tuck, Lil Flip, Dope House Records. And he's made these connections. So me signing on to this label is actually a big move for me. And this is the one thing though that I want people to realize. You can't stop once you get the things you wanted. Like for example, this new car I have, it's gonna take maintenance. It's gonna take me actually, putting money into it, making sure it runs well, making sure I maintain it. The car is the first step. I reached that goal, but that journey is not done yet. I had to keep continuing on to make sure that I maintain what it is that I hoped for, prayed for, wished for, whatever it is, what I manifested. The universe gave it to me. Now in it's my turn to reciprocate that.
The consistency
of it, and just to return that energy that I put into this, Same thing with signing on to the label. Just because I'm signed doesn't mean it's a done deal. Now I had to be able to make consistent music. Now, basically, it's like they say, be careful what you wish for, because you got to make sure that you're ready. But when your mind is when you're fully concentrated and focused, and you say in your head, you know what, I am ready for this. I deserve this. I will, I will find ways to make this work. And say like with this car, everyone's like, the parts are expensive, you just be careful with it, are you sure you can afford that? I'm like, the whole point of me getting this car is to make more money. I always had excuses. I can't go to these photo shoots or do these interviews or do this and that because I had no transportation. Now this car isn't supposed to be just another bill. It's supposed to be an investment, and that's the mindset people should have. So, long story short, I was feeling hopeless last year. I decided for myself, I want a better life. I went out there, things started happening, but now it's my responsibility to maintain that better life, because nothing comes easy, nothing comes, free in life. Everything comes with a price, whether it's time, work, or money. So everyone out there that's feeling, a little down, just know that sometimes you just have to boost up your energy, and you have to really dig deep into your potential and unearth the abilities you've known you've always had.
And I like what you was talking about when it comes to the consistency part, because more often than not, a lot of people will say, like, a lot of folks don't want to work, they don't want to do this and stuff of that kind of nature. I've heard this on numerous occasions, and some people would say to me, just do this, just follow the typical status quo shit stuff. I don't know, I'm trying to censor it, but just rock with me, you know what I'm doing. But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people won't work for something that they don't believe in. You have to have, like I said in my previous video, you have to have purpose. And purpose is usually something that is bigger than who and what you are. For example, you're taking on more than what you currently are just today. You know what I'm saying? Because it's greater than what you are. Then once you conquer that, you're going to take on greater and more ambitious challenges. And I notice a lot of people are afraid of challenge or don't want to put in the effort because they don't believe that they're worthy of this. They're not worthy of doing these kind of things. And that's why I speak so highly on self-value, self-love, and just not being afraid to do it. You are worthy of it. You're worthy of good people in your life. You're worthy of good friends. You're worthy of a good relationship. You're worthy of nice things. And if you really want these things, you will start to see opportunities move towards you as you move towards them. That's when you find yourself in them situations like, oh, I just so happen to be at Walmart chopping it up with some random dude. Okay, man, he owns a record label, or man, somebody's selling some cars, and then I'm looking for this and that, blah, blah, blah. And you've been thinking of, hey, I really want a car. I really want to do something more in my career. I want to take my music to the next level. That was just an example, but it's funny how these things work because I've been doing so much research on how energy works. Again, the stuff we talking about, y'all ain't gonna learn this in school. You not pre-K through 12th grade, they not gonna teach you this, because this is the real of life. They prepare you for the Matrix kind of lifestyle, which I still don't understand, because when you spoke about just, man, I'm ready to die, I felt those same kind of feelings. And I made a whole video on that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to tag it in the link or whatever, but just check my channel out. It's there, I promise. But sometimes when you just don't feel like, at least for me, my exact thoughts were like, man, I'm just not meant for this world. I didn't feel like I was cowardly or anything like that, but I just felt like a puzzle piece that did not belong in this particular pattern. And I was like, man, I just don't want to be here no more. But even when I was in those kind of thoughts, my vision came back to me. What I knew I wanted in life came back to me. And that's what I encourage everyone else to do. You know what I'm saying? Spend some time alone. Spend some time by yourself, and don't be afraid of it. So that way you too can have your vision, because my vision is what saves my life. It's what keeps me going. It's what keeps me saying, yeah, it's going to be okay. Because when you get to the point where you just don't give a damn no more, you're going to take other risks. So why not take risks that are going to lead you into a better direction? Challenge the fear that holds you back, because that's what's really stopping us. I think a lot of times we
I like what you
scared.
said right there though about vision. You got to know where you want to be in life, and sometimes that's hard. Sometimes we find ourselves in a dark place. We can't see anything around us. We just don't know where we're going. But the second you get a sense of direction, a sense of purpose, or just a sense of knowing where you want to go, it really helps out a lot. You have to have a mental map to navigate through your own life, because if not, a lot of times, it's okay to wander in life, but the second you start feeling lost is the second you've lost your direction. Me, like personally, and it's like also you said about challenges. It's about knowing that in order to grow, you have to challenge yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if your vision for yourself is a grand vision that requires an upgraded version of yourself, you're gonna have to constantly challenge yourself. You're gonna have to take on more responsibility. You're gonna have to keep giving yourself more to accomplish, and that's it comes down to knowing your own pace. And this video is not meant to rush anybody. If you're still taking time to figure your life out, take the time, but really have hope and believe in yourself, believe in your abilities, because like I said, 6 months ago, I had no idea what I was doing in my life. I had no clue until I actually just sat down one day. I wrote down everything I wanted to accomplish, all my goals, all my projects, everything I needed to get done, and I just started visualizing all that. Once you writing it down really helps. It helps you visualize what you want in life. And once I started visualizing it, it started manifesting. I started seeing it around me, and it's understanding that we are capable of anything we set our minds to. We have a bunch of tools and resources given to us from birth. The technology we have, the people we can meet. It's just opportunities everywhere. And when you have a clear sense of vision, you know what to look for. When you don't, you can miss an opportunity just simply by not recognizing it.
Yeah, and you can have it. You definitely can, because like I said, I break down kind of the things that we were taught. Like, I really speak heavily into that, because when I sit there and just think about like school and stuff of that kind of nature, school did not prepare me for a lot of stuff. And sometimes I can get like, damn, I was 12 years down the damn drain. But when I sat there and thought about it, I'm like, man, I want more than just a 9 to 5. Don't get me wrong. If it's a stepping stone, cool. But make sure, if you know you want more in life, go into every job that you go into with a temp kind of mentality. That don't mean don't move up. That don't mean, you're not going to be there for a couple of years or whatever, but go in there understanding that this is not the end of the road. A lot of people get caught in that complacency stuff, man. And that complacency is what's killing a lot of folks. Complacency is a great killer of dreams. I'm not even finna lie to you, because when you get so trapped into your routine, as my mom says, she loves her routine. But when you stay in a routine that isn't elevating you, moving you forward, that routine becomes a cage. You know what I'm saying? That becomes a trap, because you're going to keep messing with the same people, doing the same things with the same habits. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot out here, y'all. It's a lot out here that we could all win. And that leads me to my second point, is make sure you're around people who want to see you win. Being around people in relationships is like math. Make sure you're around multipliers, people who add. You know what I'm saying? Don't be around those subtractors. Don't be around people who trying to divide you from who you are and divide you from those good people.
I had to go off of that point because you're so right. It's all about the people you allow into your life. If it wasn't for me meeting, that girl I had met that encouraged me just to be a better person, I wouldn't have gotten back on my feet and realized my vision. If it hadn't been for one of my exes, encouraging me to get the car, I wouldn't have applied for that loan or the application, and I wouldn't have gotten the car. If it wasn't for Leo, recognizing my talents as a photographer and me as a songwriter, he wouldn't have put me onto his label. It's about knowing the people that you're around and seeing who recognizes your good qualities, because a lot of people, they'll either sharpen your good qualities or they'll sharpen your bad qualities. We all exchange energy. We're all interacting with each other. It's always a give and take. So there's certain people that that will encourage your bad habits. They'll encourage you to just chill, just be lazy, just eat more food, just do whatever you want to do. Life, it doesn't matter. There's other people that are like, what, hey, you need to get your money right, you need to focus on your health, you need to and neither one is neither good or bad. It's just knowing what you want. If you do want a more comfortable life and other people are telling you, hey, just relax and chill, go ahead. But if there's just something in your intuition that tells you, no, you want more than that, you got to be able to recognize and discern from all these voices what really resonates with you. Because there's gonna be you're gonna get so much feedback, so much input, so much information by everybody or everything, and you got to be able to filter that out, which goes back to having a clear vision. You got to know what your vision is, what words encourage that, what words discourage that, and be able to separate the two and take action with what encourages you.
Yeah, definitely. But it's gonna always. I keep it in mind, y'all. Regardless of whatever pain and things like that you deal with, it's gonna always be all right. It's gonna always be all right, because it can get difficult, especially when you breaking out of the mental bonds that our teachers, our parents, some of our friends put us in without consciously being aware of what they're doing. For example, you ever heard an old person say, "Oh, I'm too old for this," or somebody of older character, or just somebody in general will say that. People use words like, "Oh, I'm too old for this," or "Oh, that's doing too much," and things of that kind of nature when pertaining to your dreams, your goals, your ambitions. For example, someone who's already, and I'm just going to be real, some folks too far gone to the point to where they can't really be on your team like that, or having them around will be detrimental to your dream. Because like how he was saying, how Johnny just said, when it comes down to some people putting you down or telling you to just chill when you know you want more, be mindful of the way that they do it, because they don't say it in that conventional form factor, because no one wants to face the reality of, damn, I'm really putting somebody else's dreams down because I chose to stop chasing my own. They do it in certain ways to try to deter you from your goal. Feel your energy, be the best you can be, and you'll be able to understand, okay, is this good for me? Is this bad for me? Are you good for me or are you bad for me? And there's nothing wrong with letting someone else go, because I can always tell y'all, I'm going to love myself more than I love you. I have to do that because this is my life. And if everyone, I think, followed that, there'll be more ambitious people and less people trying to put you down and deter you.
And going off of that, I always heard an old phrase that said, unless you're willing to trade places with the person you're taking advice from, be mindful of the advice you take. If a poor person tells me how to make $1 million, would I really take his advice versus a millionaire telling me how to make $1 million? You have to understand where the advice is coming from and where their results, what their results show. Because sometimes people can give out all this advice, but if they're so good at it, why haven't they put it to use themselves?
For sure, they're not going to advise you beyond what they know.
Exactly. And so so it's also being mindful of who has credibility, who doesn't. At the same time, though, that doesn't negate that some people do have good ideas, and there's just certain restrictions that apply to them. Like, let's say for example, someone could have a great business idea for you. They can't implement that because they have kids in the family, but they know that for you as a single person, you could probably accomplish that. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. It's not a lot of people, like I said, just because they're not acting on their own advice doesn't mean that's not credible. Sometimes they can have great words of wisdom. So that's why you have to use your own discernment. Not everyone's gonna have your best interest at heart. Not everyone's gonna want to try to manipulate you. It's all about just discernment, because sometimes people can say things with good intentions as well, but it could also just have a negative effect depending on how you utilize that information. And but also vice versa. Someone could try to down you, but that turns into motivation to push you to do more. And so it's just all about how you process the information. It's always about keeping a positive mindset, though. Anything you hear, whether it's positive or negative, you have to turn it into a positive. You have to turn it into a lesson or a blessing or whatever you have to do to utilize that. And sometimes there is just BS and fluff, and sometimes people are just telling us what we already know, or they're just talking in circles. And at those times, you got to be able to also process that too and understand why the information is not useful. It's just about knowing yourself, knowing your vision, knowing everything that you experience throughout your day, how that correlates with what you're trying to do, and just have hope. Like you said, it does get better. Sometimes we find ourselves in a rut, but we have to pull ourselves out. We can't stay in that dark place forever. Sometimes it takes another spark for somebody else to light up our spark again. Sometimes we have to spark ourselves up, but just know we got to keep moving. Sometimes it's okay to take a break once in a while, but don't ever quit.
Yeah,
because if I had quit, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
You only fail when you quit. That's the only time you actually
Yeah,
fail.
because
Is
it's
when
not
you
a
quit.
race; it's a marathon. You know, it's all about just getting to the finish line. It doesn't matter if you're first, second, third, whatever. You know, when I got this car, I'm not worried about who got a car before me. I'm not worried about who still doesn't have a car. I just know that I have a car now. You know, I can't read into the future. I don't know if this breaks down on me in 6 to 8 months. I don't know if it's still running smooth in 6 years. All I know is I have today. Today I have a car. Today I'm for this label. Today I'm in a good place in my life, because a lot of times we focus on everything that can go wrong, but why not focus on everything that can go right? And yes, we do have to prepare for what can go wrong, and be ready for that, and just be mindful of that. But at the same time, we can't just focus on the negatives. We have to see, you know what, this can go wrong, but this can also solve that, and this can go right.
I call that realistic optimism.
Yeah.
Be real, be optimistic, be positive. Yeah, hell yeah, who don't want to win? I don't know nobody watching these videos. Who don't like to win, you know? But you can still be privy to the fact that things can possibly go this way.
Yeah.
It's a possibility of this, but I'm finna put my energy and my attention and my focus on this because I like this.
Like I said, realistic. What is it? Realistic.
A realistic optimist.
Realistic optimist. Like I said, I'm like, I'm still gonna be whipping this car in 5 years. That's the optimistic part. But I gotta go get an oil change. I gotta get maintenance. I gotta get the tires rotated. That's the realism, is it? Because you can be optimistic, but you also got to understand the steps it takes to get to that level, and it has to be achievable. Like if I say, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna be driving a Hellcat, nah, that's not very realistic, you know. But
at the same time,
at the same time, if I did some research, like I said, it's all about information. What makes things more real is the more informed you are about these things, and that's why it's so important to self-teach yourself, to always constantly learn. Like with this, like I said, with this car, I crunched all the numbers, I did all the math, I looked up all the maintenance costs, I did a lot of research on how to maintain this, and it seemed realistic to me. Other people wouldn't want to take it on me. I'm like, you know what, I if I just know what I'm doing and when I need to get it done,
let's just do it and then see what we get.
So
I can dig that.
Dream big, but also understand you can have a big dream, but it takes small steps to get there. So you got to understand both aspects, the macro and the micro, because the big picture, we have a vision for ourselves, but pictures don't happen with one paint stroke. You have to add every stroke in there and paint this picture for yourself. You have to, every day, consistency. You have to keep on brushing and keep on putting these paint strokes in, and eventually you get that big picture.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, that's pretty much the gist of what I had. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, no, it's getting a little on the long side. I think we got, most of it. Like I said, if you're feeling hopeless, just remember what you're here for. If you're still trying to find your passion, explore different things. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. You never know what you're unlocking yourself. I say always stay motivated. And a lot can happen in 1 year. That's the main takeaway. I've wasted almost 10 years of my life just bullshitting, just hanging with the wrong people, having the wrong habits, doing the wrong things. And I told myself, this is the year, in 1 year's time, that I will every missed opportunity, every unfinished project, everything's getting done this year. I'm gonna fit 10 years of work into 1 year, because I know it's possible if I work every single day towards it. And I want all y'all to realize that too. If you feel like you're older, or feel like run out of time, or you never run out of time. The time is now. It's just, you just gotta go for it.
And you got it. You got it. Enjoy yourself, y'all. Stay smooth like butter, slick like hair grease, and fine like cream gravy. My Professor Goodfeels family, the Infinity family. I like that. I just thought of that.
Check out Hugo Infinity, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. Photography, music, book reviews. I do it all.
And it will be linked down below in my description, y'all, for y'all's viewing pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Because we can all win out here. So y'all take it easy, stay smooth like butter, slick like hair grease, and fine like cream gravy. This Professor Goodfeels and Hugo Infinity here. We out here. Hit that Louisiana on y'all.